pleasure to have ma'am a cup of tea with Professor Madhu Vij, who has superannuated from Faculty of Management Studies in 2020. Ma'am has been a student of Shri Ram College of Commerce, has done her post-graduation from Delhi School of Economics, doctorate from FMS, and she had been teaching in FMS for more than 42 years. Ma'am is also governing body member of SRCC. Ma'am, it's such a pleasure to meet you and get a chance to interact with you. I'm Professor Seema Gupta. On the behalf of Delhi University Foundation, I welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Professor Seema, for having me here. It's a complete delight and a pleasure, and thank you for the very warm welcome that you have given.
The pleasure is all mine, ma'am. Ma'am, the first and the foremost thing I want to know how you came to know about foundation and how you got associated with it.
Professor Seema, this whole initiative of having a Delhi University Foundation, I think it was long overdue. And in my personal capacity, I had known Professor Anil Kumar for a very, very long time, since I was also associated with Shri Ram College. I think probably I knew about the foundation and its very dynamic activities from day one.
Ma'am, I'm interested in knowing that since you have been the student of DU and you have taught for more than 4 decades in DU, how you see the contribution of Delhi University to this society and to this nation as a whole?
I think सीमा, ये आपका क्वेश्चन बहुत एप्ट है in today's time, because if I look around, at a point of time, I think Delhi University was one of the only university, but now with a lot of private universities also coming up, and with this whole thing about globalization, I think we also need to position ourselves. Research is one area where I do feel that if there is a little impetus, if there is a little push, there is a little help, we could involve our students, our teachers, and the entire community in the kind of research output which comes. I do understand that teaching is very, very important, but somehow the two have tended to get interlinked. And in this context, the national education policy,
Yes.
which has come up at a very, very appropriate time, which talks about the whole focus, it gives a lot on research. It talks a lot about education, primary education, but at the same time, it also gives a lot of focus to higher education. And it is in that context, if we look at research, we look at the kind of education we are imparting to our students. We also look at, how we are placed at the global level. And that is one perspective I would have in mind. The other is, what we say, education for all. So if in some way we can help the various sections of the society, in ensuring that they get the best of the education. And I do personally feel, having studied in Delhi University, having taught at Delhi University all my life, that the kind of education, the environment, the whole growth facility which you get at Delhi University, I'm sure you cannot really get it anywhere else.
That's so rightly said. Ma'am, you come with such a rich experience of teaching one of the best brains who have joined corporates. So if I talk about them, management in itself itself encompasses various disciplines, and we talked about NEP, and the focus of NEP has been on multidisciplinarity. So I would really like to know that to the coming generation, to my BCom honor students and other students who are presently studying in Delhi University, what is the message you would give them being a management teacher?
Very nicely put, Seema. And I think we all aspire to be the best in whatever profession we are. Yes, definitely we get the best of minds. And then for each one of them, it's a privilege to join FMS, being a part of Delhi University. And at FMS, we are so proud of the fact that the ROI, the return on investment
Yes.
we give our students is probably, I would say, not at all comparable to any IIMs. Yes, we could be lacking a little in infrastructure or otherwise, but we more than make it up in terms of, as you very rightly said, the placement and the kind of knowledge we impart. As far as a mantra is concerned, I think I will tend to repeat one thing or one line which I have learnt all my life, and I'm not saying it today, but I have been practicing it also. There is no shortcut to success. There is absolutely no shortcut to success. And let me put another thing. It's not always intelligence which wins. In today's world, diligence is equally important. So, having seen the career path of so many of our students, you do find that, okay, fine, I might get admission, but to get the best of jobs, the diligence and the commitment and the maturity is equally important. But if I were to break this up into steps, the first step is getting admission. For getting admission, I think there are a lot of preparatory schools, and one needs to be good in mathematics, in English, and do a little, I would say a regular kind of exercise, prepare for the test. In fact, in today's time, I think even the environment teaches me a lot. So, and I've also seen, this whole education system, what we used to teach in schools earlier, that has also, become a lot more market linked.
Yes.
So schools are also doing a lot to ensure that you're giving the right education at the right time. So I think once you have that diligence, and I know what my career path is, I can always be joining the best of B school. But having joined a good B school, it doesn't stop there. Then the second part is the effort I put in. And to that, I like to bring the NEP into this question also, because I've really become very fond of the national education policy, because first time we have heard of multidisciplinary. So just because I'm doing a management course, just because I'm doing MBBS, doesn't mean I would not have a passion in cricket or in arts or in music or any other field. And the other way I look at this whole focus of my national education policy is that once they emphasize the multifunctional part of it, which is so true, because if I were to draw a simile, in all organizations for the last many years, the problems which are facing all organizations are not, I would say, are not unidirectional. So which means the focus is not on an HR or a marketing or any of the disciplines. If the problems are not unidirectional, how can the solutions be unidirectional? So I have to have a cross-functional and a multi-functional focus, which my national education policy also focuses. So my message would be good in whatever you are doing, and then success will be all yours. But the bottom line is diligence, hard work, always is. That's it.
मैम, ये तो बात रही हमारे कार्य क्षेत्र की और आपके स्टूडेंट्स की. Now I want to know you as a person. Tell us something about your life. What are your passions? And if you could recall any such incident from your personal life or family or society which made you the person you are today?
Uh, I really need to go back memory lane because Seema, let me tell you, when I decided to join Shri Ram College, I think that's something which is so clearly etched in my memory. My father was a very influencer, and he really used to influence my decision. And he thought uh, one could only be good in medical or good in engineering. So he was very disappointed, when I joined SRCC. But that was just for a month. And he kept on telling me, why don't you try some other course? I said, no, my love, passion remains with SRCC, and I've heard it's the best college. But let me tell you, times were a little different that time. But SRCC helped me shape what I am today. We were very few girls at that point of time. And I still remember, we were just about 15, 20 girls in the entire college. And I was made to take political science and maths as my subsidies. So I was not allowed to take the easy papers. And I remember I was the only one in my class, so I would always wait for the faculty to come and then I would enter the class because it would be all boys. So, those are memories, but I still remember how, every student was so helpful. Every student was so forthcoming. So this is like one part which always comes to my mind as good memories about my college. The other I remember is, I still remember when I joined LSR, it was a totally different experience coming from a co-ed to a girls' college. So I remember, our principal used to be very tough. But that also ensured that we have a little discipline. If I would like to say that, at that point, when we joined LSR, it was mandatory for the faculty to wear sarees. So what I mean by that is a dress code. And what it means is that I need to be properly attired. So it was not only me, it was entire, all of us. I think somewhere down the line, I do believe that these kinds, of, I would say, prerequisites or requirements are always good for an institution, because then LSR helped me to shape, the kind of commitment you could have. And then when I got this opportunity, as Seema said, as the first women faculty to have joined FMS, I think I have had a good experience in terms of, the kind of, I would say, the help you got, the kind of contribution you got, and the institutions which I would say I joined were very kind, because I would like to say, when you are young, that's the time you're getting married, that's the time you're raising a family also, and whatever you may say, there's a little slowdown in all our careers for us. And my message to all the young girls is, and I do it for my own children also, don't mind that 4 or 5 years slow down, because it's but natural. But then you will always rebound, and the institute also pays you.
When a woman supports another woman, gives a hand holding, it brings change, a positive change at workplace, culture and ethics. And that leads to change in society and nation as a whole. Professor Madhu Vij ma'am, I thank you once again on the behalf of Delhi University Foundation that you give such a time in between the interview selection, and you came here and you shared your experiences and thoughts with us. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Seema, for having me, and before I leave, all the very best to your foundation, and best wishes always to your foundation. Thank you so much.